cut to 5, but they end up prevailing 112-98. Great to have you with us, Bill Pito, along with Alan Hahn. So the Knicks' magic number to clinch third in the East is 1. Pacers right now playing Denver. If the Pacers lose, Knicks clinch third. They win their 50th game, back-to-back 50-win seasons for this team for the first time in 30 seasons. And Brunson comes back. I thought an interesting, Alan, he took only 9 shots. That's the second fewest shot attempts he's had in any game this season. Was he measured, you think, in his return, trying to make sure everybody else would still get involved, like Bridges and Anunoby, et cetera?
Absolutely. You know, he wasn't going to force anything coming into this game. You know, he wanted to get – I mean, I'm actually surprised he played 34 minutes. You would think, you know, ease it in. But, you know, when you're trying to get ready for the playoffs, there's no easing into anything. And he was ready to go. I thought he got to the free throw line, which is so typical of him. He took 10 free throw attempts in this game. He knocked him down late. Mr. Clutch getting it done as always and moved the basketball. You know, in this game, he still had 6 assists. So he was making sure that he was finding the open man, made a couple of real dazzling passes, I thought. He wants to play in the flow. He does not want to disrupt what has been building while he was out. And you know he's been watching this team closely, so he's seeing it. He doesn't have to carry this offense. This isn't like the last couple of years. And I think that is what makes this offense special, is if they can get back to where they were the first 3 quarters of the season, where they were one of the most efficient offenses in the NBA, they'll be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
All right, let's take everyone through the game here. Knicks ultimately up by 19 in the 4th quarter, but the Suns cut it to 5. Here's some early action.
Yeah, this is, again, Jalen Brunson getting in the game and just getting himself into rhythm and taking it to the basket and scoring. And Karl-Anthony Towns, by the way, in that second quarter was in absolute beast mode, just attacking Nick Richards and anybody else that tried to guard him. Speaking of beast mode, OG Anunoby, a third quarter to talk about 19 points as he turned off the water because Devin Booker looked like he was going to take over the game, and OG said, nah, this is my building. 6 threes he knocks down, and then it was closing time. Who better than Jalen Brunson knocking down that 3 to give the Knicks a 10-point lead, and then just the finishing touch, why not another dunk? A 360, Billy B. from OG. What a night he had. 30-point performance, 32-point performance, and a run that he's been on red hot.
All right, 3-point shooting tells a tale. Phoenix, 4 of 34 from downtown, while the Knicks go 12 of 28. That's your key number. Suns lose, even though Devin Booker went for 40 points. Here now with Karl-Anthony Towns. Kat, thanks for dropping by. Great game. You guys are up by 19 in the 4th. They cut it to 5. How'd you end up prevailing in the end?
Just executing, staying disciplined, fighting through adversity. We did a good job with just sticking with it at the end.
What was the impact of having Jalen Brunson back for you guys?
Cap adds a lot of layers to our offense, so hit a big 3 at the end when we really needed it, and you know, just doing a good job of commanding offense.
Week to go in the regular season. What's the goal for you guys down the stretch?
Be the best version of ourselves. We want to step into the playoffs feeling good about our games and feeling good about our team. So games like tonight show the grittiness our team has, but also shows when we're at full strength and when we're executing at a high level what we could look like in the first half.
Always appreciate you stopping by. Thanks so much, and congrats.
Appreciate it.
Cat tonight, another double-double. Allen, 19 points, 13 rebounds.
And early on, he was really I loved how aggressive he was, driving to the basket. He was making a lot of acrobatic layups, and he was even cutting. When do you see a big man cut to the basket? We've seen him drive like this. I mean, he's just got so much strength on the drive. He was, to me, just a workhorse for the Knicks. And what we're noticing, right, OG Anunoby had the big third quarter. Jalen Brunson gets it going at the end, closes the door. And Karl-Anthony Towns in that second quarter really opened this game up. And he is looking across from him and seeing, who's guarding me? Oh, I can take him. And they're spreading out. And he's going one-on-one, and he's beating anybody in front of him these days.
All right, so we knew before Brunson got hurt, you had Brunson and Towns.
Yep.
Maybe there'd be Bridges one night. Maybe there'd be Anunoby one night. If they're going to get this type of production every night from Anunoby with Brunson back, talk about what that might mean now in the postseason as we take a look at Anunoby's 32-point night. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother dynamic for them, is it not?
First of all, with his size and strength, you can't guard him with a guard. And not some skinny wing either. Like, you got to have somebody that's got some size, got some length and agility to be able to put up with him, but also have the power to deal. You see, he just dispatches people. Look at that, just moving people out of the way and literally dunking on them. That's how that's where he's gotten his game to right now. Look, again, more strength and power.
I don't think
going
we
around
saw that
players.
aggressiveness
early
in the season.
I don't. And he tried to tell me out on the court like I've always done this, and in my head I was like, have you though? Because
Look at this.
looks like other level right now, and his finishing ability at the rim. So what I mean is this. If you're going to guard him with somebody and let him play one-on-one, how are you doubling Jalen Brunson? How are you doubling or sending another big to help out on Karl Anthony Towns? You got to worry about him now, because in one-on-one situations like we're starting to see, he can beat anybody off the dribble. He can outpower you to the rim. So now the Knicks have a third piece, a big three, so to speak, that in any game can take over. He's 10 straight games now. He's giving you 20 points a night. That's showing you, again, what he's done in the last quarter of the season is all-star level production.
You know, it's one thing if Anunoby's going to score 15 a night, but if he's going to score 22, 25, 28 a night.
All in the flow of the
with
game.
Brunson, with Towns.
Yeah. And let's not forget that Mikal Bridges is a guy that in this league has scored 40 in a game a couple of times. He has gotten to 30.
He went for 22 tonight.
Just 22, and it's like the fourth thing we're going to talk about is the fact that Bridges got to 20 in this game. So the Knicks this is why they built the team this way, and it takes all season to get to this point. But what you want to see at the end of the year, and Tom Thibodeau talks about this all the time, by the end of the season, you want to be playing your best basketball. You want now all those pieces and all the things you've worked on all year to now come together when it's time to play in a playoff series. The Knicks, with Anunoby and his rise in production and this part of his game that he's showing, have now become a more dangerous team for the postseason.
Likely we saw the four guys off the bench that are going to play in the postseason with Mitchell Robinson, campaign, Deuce McBride, and Landry Shamet. McBride, back from his 8-game absence, played pretty well, 8 points off the Knicks bench. All right, when we come back, we will hear from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau. Another 50-win season for him as the Knicks beat Phoenix 112-98.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by...
The Knicks beat Phoenix 112-98. Back now from the corner three, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. So the Knicks next play Boston on national TV, but you can listen on the radio on ESPN New York. Our next Knicks game here on MSG Thursday night at the Pistons. Pregame at 6:30, game at 7. Let's now listen into the postgame comments from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau. As always, presented by Chase.
Congratulations on 50 wins, back-to-back seasons, first time since '95. What did you see in that fourth quarter where you guys regained your footing?
I thought OG hit some timely buckets for us. I thought our defense was pretty solid throughout. Booker had a huge game, but he made some tough shots. But he's a great player. But I thought OG really competed with him, and we were blitzing him all over the place, and he was still making. So, and they're a very good offensive team. So. We flew around. I thought guys made second, third effort. We had good, solid contributions from a number of guys. It was good to have everyone out there again. Good. Like for first game back, he hit a big shot late in the fourth, got to the line. I think he found some rhythm by getting to the line and then attacking the basket, so that was a real positive. I thought Mikal made some big plays for us down the stretch as well. Josh's rebounding was huge. And anytime you're blitzing like we were, it requires guys to fly all over the place, and that's what they did. There was a lot of hustle. I thought our bench was solid as well.
How important was it to get Jalen back in the mix?
I think it's important to have everyone back, and it's been a little unusual because we didn't have Mitch for 60 games, and we didn't have Landry for like 40 games, and then Deuce was out for a stretch. So it's just good to have everyone back, and so we can get some rhythm going in, and we want to keep improving. And that's been our goal from the start of the season, is to improve every day and to be strong on both sides of the ball. So that's what we're striving towards.
In a weird way, do you think it might make you guys stronger? I mean, when you have people out and other people have to do things outside of what they've had to do before, and now you're all back together, people have confidence?
Yeah. Oh, I think in this league, whatever comes your way, and I think you start off the season with that in mind. It's a long season, and then you have to prepare every day and concentrate on daily improvement. So, and when one guy goes out, another guy comes in, and then the most important thing is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of all your teammates. So play to your strengths to cover up your weaknesses. That's a big part of playing smart. And then we knew it was going to be hard to replace Jalen individually. You can't do that. But I thought collectively we did, and that's what we talked about when he was injured. We knew we were going to have to play great defense. We knew we'd have to rebound, and we knew we'd have to take care of the ball. And then, we got a number of good contributions from bench guys. DeLon Wright, Tyler Kolek played great for us during that period of time. OG and Mikal were terrific, and Kat has had a phenomenal year from start to finish. No, like with Jalen and with Anthony Goenaga, if there's fatigue, he'll tell us, and they're watching him pretty closely. So, and he put a lot of time into the conditioning aspect. That right now it's more his timing, so he's got to play. There's just no other way around that. Even he practiced well the other day, but the intensity of practice can never be replicated to what a game is.
Coach, going back to OG's first game, it was New Year's Day against Minnesota. To now today, you always talk about letting the game speak to you and letting it tell you what to do. Is there anyone on the Knicks that is so advantageously benefiting from that offensive standpoint, from that mindset of, I won't joke with Fred in the corners, but with OG, it always feels like the game flow is just so advantageous for him when the ball's moving. He always makes the most of it.
Well, I think it's for everybody. I mean, that's when the ball moves, the game becomes easy. So, but you have to have a balance. You have to understand how important it is to get easy baskets. I mean, if you're getting easy baskets off your defense, that helps a lot. And then if you're in the half court, if you're executing and you're playing for each other, the game is going to. So if they're trapping somebody, you can play off that. We have a number of guys that are good attacking downhill. So if we play off that, and then you have the responsibility of making deep paint decisions. So when you get there, if you have a good angle to the basket, go. If the second defender's there, spray. And that's what we say is read the game and everyone play for each other. And when that happens, good things come from it.
You mentioned Jalen hitting the three late and going to the line a couple times. Did you sense him attacking more later, maybe needing to just sort of play his way into his confidence?
Yeah, I think usually what happens when a guy comes back, he sort of has to get a feel for the game again. And then usually there's a play or two where he'll be tested a little bit. And then once he realizes he's good, he takes off. And I thought the whole second half there was a different gear for him, and that's to be expected. Anytime, and I felt the same way with Deuce. I thought Deuce gave us really good minutes first time back, and Cam the same thing. And we needed those guys. That's where our energy comes from.
Yeah, Tom, you got a day off and then you have Boston. I mean, talk about the challenge and what kind of test that is for you guys.
Yeah, every game's a test, so tomorrow, day off, recovery, and then prepare to understand what goes into winning. Don't change your routine, but understand what we have to do to win. Yeah, we talked about it. I think that as you head down the stretch, you want to check boxes. You want a winning record at home, winning record on the road. 50 wins is good, and you want the highest seed possible. And then you want to be playing well. So you're going step by step. We're not skipping over anything. And this is the approach we've taken all season long. So we're not going to change now. So we feel like this will help prepare us for what's down the road.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
Worth repeating. Back-to-back 50-win seasons for this coach and this team. For the first time, this franchise has done it in 30 years.
Yeah, you have to give credit where credit is due. We obviously talk a lot about the players on this team and what they do, but you also have to acknowledge Tom Thibodeau and his coaching staff and what they have done over the last 5 years in also building that standard and building that expectation of winning to a point now where a 50-win season is not something that is, wow, it's been a long time. No, now it's been back-to-back seasons. He just passed Pat Riley, right, on the all-time wins list in Knicks history. Well, the last coach to do back-to-back 50-win seasons was Pat Riley. He had a streak of 4 years in a row that ended in 1995, where they were winning 50 games a year. That's the standard that Tom Thibodeau has brought back to this franchise. It's been a long time. The consistency of winning and the expectation of winning, to a point now where you look beyond winning 50 and now look to the playoffs and see what the team can do there.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the playoffs. Knicks, obviously, I mean, they have been unable to get past the second round. And obviously, the first round, they're most likely going to finish third. Most likely going to be Milwaukee or Detroit in round number 1.
Yeah, and we'll see who that first round opponent's going to be. And that, as you know, with the coaching staff, will be the only thing they focus on is that very next opponent. But I do think any of these teams, especially the 2 top teams in the East, are looking at the Knicks as the team they've been throughout the season. But the team that they're becoming right now in this last quarter of the season is a much different looking team. You know, and then again, they'll see Cleveland again this week, and they'll see them on the second game of back-to-back again. This is all that you've had. But when you get into a playoff series, this is a different look than what you've seen in the regular season. The ability to play Mitchell Robinson with Karl Anthony Towns, which nobody has seen that. This lineup with OG Anunoby playing at an all-star level, the way he's been playing in the last quarter of the season. This is not what the Knicks have been all year. We've seen little bits and pieces of it. But right now in this last week of the season, with a game like tonight, what you saw yesterday, this team looks a lot different than what a lot of what Boston and Cleveland has seen, and even whoever the Knicks play